Okay, yeah, let's let them in.
Shall I click let everyone in?
Oh, I've just done that. Um, cool. Am I sharing my screen? Are you guys seeing the camera? Okay. So, hi everyone. I hope everyone can hear us and see us well. And I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Um, so I think we just get right into it. But I hope it's also possible for you guys to give a reaction if possible. Are you guys able to do a thumbs up or something? Or say something in the chat if possible? Okay, great. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right, then, guys, we go right into it. Welcome, welcome. So, this is Digital Futures, and today we're bringing to you introduction to LookX and xKool and a bunch of interesting generative AI architecture design related items that we're going to go through today. So, let's get right into it. So let's start with who is presenting today. So we are presenting on behalf of xKool Technology. We will get to know a little bit more about it in a bit. Today we have Wilber. He's the Brands and Operations Director. Myself, I'm the Senior Strategic Development Manager. And we also have Elena, who is an architectural researcher on AI and xKool Technology. So without further ado, I'm going to let Wilbur to open up the session, and he's going to go through with us what is xKool and welcome all to today's session. So Wilbur, I'm going to hand it to you.
Thank you. Um, may I share screen? Yeah.
Yep, I believe you can. Let me know if you can't.
Yep. Jesus. Is everyone able to see my screen? Nice and clear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night in around the world, everyone. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Wilbur, and then I'm representing xKool, and then as well as LookX as well, another sister company from Los Angeles as well. And then before we dive into the detail, I'd like to express like my thankful for you guys to your time and also considerations. And then, so to begin with, our mission is actually empower AEC industry with AI, both Expo and also LookX does. And then we basically have six branch around the world. So from Shenzhen is actually our headquarter, and then Shanghai and Chengdu, as well as three branches overseas, which is from Los Angeles and also Hong Kong and UAE as well, which in Abu Dhabi at the moment. And then a few award and also some IP registered. So let's begin with some of the recent trends in AI. So since in 1970, the way of digitalization has begun already. In the first system, it's actually a machine is able to do the information and human just need to do the modeling and actions. And then from the 2000, the tech kind of generally shift to the second level of the system, which is like machine potentially able to process information and also modeling, and human just need to make the decision, make the action, etc. And then, however, in the nearly future, what we believe is the system will kind of gently grow into what we call general AI, which is like a comprehensive, like intelligent system that will able to, highly enhance the whole development of the design tree. Right? So I won't go into very detail, but this is showing how much the large language AI model has been trained in the past. As you can see, there's a huge trend ongoing. And then as well as the application itself, we now have AI application in coding, in marketing, in video, as well as what we as looks are doing is just like a drawing generation applications. So diving into the architecture, we always call our methodology as ABC, which is AI-driven BIM on cloud. So we didn't invent the concept BIM, but basically we believe that it's kind of like a labor-intensive working process or working industry haven't been in the past few decades. So that's why we're trying to bring in AI to monitor and also control the whole process in BIM, as well as all the applications should be on cloud. So what we call it is ABC in the format. So look back to a little bit about large language model or AI model itself. It's relatively easy to like train a large model for word or text processing, but it's far beyond, able to meet the actual standard of what our AEC industry really needs. It's actually because our industry is need more than text. Basically, it's two-dimensional image, three-dimensional model, as well as local regulation, etc. So the large language for our industry is actually a higher dimensional model. So it's kind of difficult to process data and model training as well. And then we've been trying to identify 5 levels in digitalization process from L1 to L5. So the L1 is actually just the paperwork on site. For the L2 and L3, we start to have machine readable content or machine readable documents, and then which designers start to use computer to do the drawing, to read the document, and also like software like AutoCAD, etc. And then we are actually identified the mainstream like BIM technology currently in L4, which is like a machine readable content. So many of the human works now, just like BOQ calculation, etc., are actually able to done by machine. But in LookX and also in xKool, what we are targeting is actually machine interpretable content, which is in L5. So we believe that the self-learning and also self-analysis, and also we actually create like a self-validation cycle back to improve the content itself within the ecosystem is actually what we are targeting in. And then we often describe our industry like in the uh, 3 main parts, what we are actually processed with the data. So basically the data itself is either constructed or not structured, as well as the part 2 is these geometry or geographic information around the world, like 2D or 3D of them, and then as well as the rule itself, the national and also local regulations. So combining 3 of them, we actually make the ABC format, which is what we call a data-driven model. Differences between these and also the CD and BIM is actually they are actually graphics-driven model. So some of the research in our industry. So we're actually in xKool's capability. We actually identified 4 categories. So the classification, the evaluation, the optimization, and also generations. So the start from the first one, you know, uh, as a like well-trained architect or a well-trained student, you of course are able to identify the image from the very beginning, um, which is like where the door is, where the living room, where the toilet is. But for a machine, it's kind of difficult to understand all the informations before you actually have a AI model testing. So by start with, you actually need to train a million times on how to classify, how to identify the information for the machine. This is how we actually build our database. So that's just an example to show, but we also do it in 2D image and also 3D model. And then, so that's the first part. And then for the evaluation part, just all the market has, just like the physical analysis capability, we also have that. And also the AI, this one is showing actually a project we have done collaborating with some of the developer in the industry, like by putting in AI agents into like a uh, internal system that to run a heat map and as well as the recommendation on where we should put the elevator, the lift, and then how to improve the traffic flow, etc. So that one is in the evaluation part. And then for the optimization part, actually, we put it a bit further, which is like the allow the data and data to talk to each other. So basically, like in a traditional marathon, within a architecture firm, you imagine like the master will be able to do a drawing and then hand over to the young architect to finish the rest of work for them. But in this project, we actually use the particle, stimulation system to uh, build a whole simulation environment, to allow the project to able to generate like a system to talk to the architecture envelope to basically generate the envelope for the whole project. And then instead of like the human decision making to make the design process, etc. And then for the generation part, is actually what we have been done in the 6 or 7 years where we are actually well known of, like 2D image generation and floor plan generation, MEP generation, and those BOQ generations. Um, a bit about what we are currently doing or what our product is. So we actually have 4 mature products now. So LookX, you guys, I imagine, is quite familiar with, which is one of the very own project we have in to C market, and then the rest of them actually to B, which is for design cloud and also real estate and also in prefab as well. So in LookX AI Cloud, we call is like a all-in-one AI GC platform. So they do generation, they do AI model training, and then build on top of these two, we actually have like a co-sharing platforms. And then some of the interface, and then I'm going to skip that image, skip that video, and then uh, so in the start creation one, you basically generate image very fast, and then you have a variety of input method, and also you can control it very flexibly well. And then some of the image sharing. So you can generate tower very well. You can generate interior image very well, as well as the city complex. And then we also support like image to video now. So some of the once you put in the image and then it will generate the video for you. And then so basically we have two methods of inputting data or have a presetting data for the user to use our interface. So the random mode is actually we have preset two set of design field, which is like architecture and interior. And then building on top of these two, we actually have 3D massing, hand sketch, and as well as the realistic photo. You will be able to choose between them and then to generate your own image. And then for the explore mode is just for a higher advanced user to use our fully control of our platforms. And as you can see, you can choose a large model here, as well as the like a style model. And then by putting in the image in it, you're able to generate the way or the style you want from the platforms. You can see the accuracy would be quite high. One of them is actually from the low random model, and then the other one is the image that just generate from the platforms. And then as well as the physical model, you can generate very well. You can type in different kind of material very well, and then testing different kind of style, as well as like unfinished photo from the interior, kitchen, bathroom, and then you can basically edit a different kind of image style, and then fine tune basically from the AI image, as well as upscaling. Yeah, I think I'm going to start from here. Stop from here. Can I hand over to you, Adeline?
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. So I thought that was quite a good introduction to the platform itself, LookX. So thank you so much, Wilbur. So we're actually going to go back into the rest of today. So let's look into today as the day one module. So we are going to jump right into the fundamentals of AI, the practical applications and role of architects. And this is the first introduction to xKool, and you've just seen a bit. So Wilber did an excellent introduction to an overview of what we can currently provide as services and products. So the objective of today is to understand the basic principles of AI and machine learning. So this is really, we have an hour and 15 minutes, and this will be the first taste of what it's like. And if you've never touched on AI before, I think this is definitely a good one to start with. And if you have some level of AI ready, then it's also going to consolidate your understanding. And then we will explore the applications of AI in solving architectural problems, and then to familiarize ourselves with the current AI trends and honestly, how would this affect us as architects and how would this affect our industry? So we'll go into it. Um, so This is our rundown today. We just had 15 minutes from Wilbur. Now we are going to look into what is a diffusion model, what are the different tools of AI out there, and how can we use Gen AI in our works if you're architects, and how does AI affect industry? And then we're going to look at like a 101 intro to prompt engineering, and then we're going to look a little bit more at the LookX interface. I'll share my screen and we will look into the creation plaza, etc. Then we will open up the chats for a Q&A session. I need to apologize for the live streaming not exactly happening right now, but this is now recording and we will upload onto my YouTube channel right after this. So bear with us. All right, what's a diffusion model? Um, let's take one step back. What is Gen AI? The reason why I brought up diffusion model is because LookX is a diffusion model. The DNA of it is stable diffusion. It's no secrets. Um, and then it's post-trained and fine-tuned for architecture purposes. But what is Gen AI? Take a step back. It's generative artificial intelligence, and it's a type of AI that's capable of generating new content. So it's not just images, it can do text and image and videos, audio, code, and other data. So I'm sure most of you know what ChatGPT is, or if you haven't heard of it, you might have heard of Llama or all the other sorts of large language models out there. So it is a type of generative AI, and let's just borrowing this fantastic diagram, this very easy to understand diagram from this website here. I'm also including their website here. So, okay, when people say, "Oh, I do AI," or "My startup's on AI," cool. Everyone can actually do AI, but are they doing it well or are they doing it badly? And also, what type of AI? When someone's telling you, "Yep, I'm working on AI," you can ask them, "Okay, what type?" Because in AI is just the theory and methods to build machines that can think and act like humans. And AI was termed in the 1950s, but machine learning is, the smaller circle inside AI, and it's specifically about the ability for computers to learn from experience or data without human programming. And then within machine learning, there's then deep learning, which mimics the brain. And it uses neural networks such as transformers to allow computers to perform complex tasks. And then within deep learning, there's generative AI. Now we're back to talk about the ChatGPT Midjourney. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it, or Bard, and in our case, LookX. And these are, you know, the products actually are born from the developments of generative AI. ChatGPT and Midjourney and LookX are fairly young, and they have exponential growth. And it's all because of the new developments recently on Gen AI. So back to diffusion models. I thought finding an image with a cat would catch your attention. So in short, the diffusion model actually does a couple of things. It goes from data to noise, and there are two different processes. There's the fixed forward diffusion process and then the generative reverse diffusion process. And what on earth does that mean? it's a lot of text here, so you can just listen to me if text is putting you off. For diffusion process, basically it is mapping the data to noise by gradually perturbing input data. And then to go backwards is to undo the forward diffusion. Um, Perhaps I can give you an easier to digest example. It's like a robot. Okay, you're scribbling all over a canvas and a robot's watching you and you're doing it layer by layer and layer. And the robot's watching you so many times that it is able to know how to wipe out your scribbles to reveal your painting, your original painting. Yeah. So the noising process, when you hear people say the noising process, um, it is the machine kind of knowing how to remove a noise in order to reveal an image. Um, so I hope I'm not explaining it badly, but what I'm trying to say is both processes typically use 1,000 steps. So each step is one layer of the scribble being removed, and then the gradual noise and iterative denoising are the main key process. So think of it this way: it's the learning is the forward diffusion, and the image generation is the parametrized reverse process. Um, okay, but we're not going to be way too technical today. It's a first taste, it's an introduction. Um, and I'll explain a little bit more. But in generative AI, why it is useful is because we can go from text like English to text, or text to image, or text to video, or from image back to text. And it's highly useful. It's not just fun, but it is actually very possibly can be commercialized and it can be used in practical um, usage. So, and that's also why there's so many startups like Y Combinator and funded companies. But I digress. Let's go back to AI tools and how that's relevant to architects. Yes, so just to elaborate a little bit more on the text to image or text to text, etc., kind of groups of AI tools out there. Going from text to image, you have LookX, Adobe Firefly, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion, of course. Going from text to video, you also have LookX, and then you have Sora. I'm sure most people have heard of Sora by now. It's, the text to video feature from OpenAI. We can go from text to 3D, not quite yet, but it's coming soon. And then there are a whole bunch of other stuff like going from image to video, and there are also many, many different applications on available on Hugging Face. I'm also going to show you guys a little bit of the 2D floor plan generation, and they're actually really valuable as well as you can imagine to developers and it's all sorts. So, okay, LookX. I'm also going to be very honest, and I will list out the pros and cons. So the great thing about LookX is that it is trained for architectural design. There's no other diffusion model or product out there that's specific to architecture. You have Midjourney, you have Stable Diffusion, and look, they are great, but none of them were trained specifically for architects. They're all generic, they're all general use. They have their pros, and I'll show you guys in a bit, but LookX is professionally made for architecture design. And if you use SketchUp and Rhino, you can take note that there's a plugin where you can actually now render. So if you used to use V-Ray or Enscape like myself, you can consider also using LookX as a plugin. Um, so I would say it's quite all-rounded. And in the platform itself, you can do in painting. So in painting is kind of like generative fill in Photoshop. You can do text to image or image to image. And you can do image to video as well. I'll show you guys more today and the later sessions. Um, but the cons, I would say, there are fewer controllable factors, which means I think we've made such a user-friendly interface that we've created lots of labels, and some people have let me know that they find it sometimes um, slightly tricky at some points. But look, guys, this is the worst version you'll ever see, and it will only get better, not just for Logix, but for AI. So here, there's no sound, so don't worry. Here, is the latest feature, which is we go from image to video. Um, and the source is from LookX. If you want to see more of these demos, of course, welcome to go onto the website. Then there's Adobe Firefly. So I wanted to show you guys kind of the most low barrier of entry tools right now out there. So then everyone can actually now already go away and check them out and do your own research. All of these are very easy to get your hands dirty with. So Adobe Firefly is easy for newbies in AI. If you already have the Adobe Creative Suite, I believe that is already incorporated in your package. I've heard that also it's hard to control, and someone was showing me that the features are still under development. So let's just take a quick look at what it looks like right now. Very straightforward. I think it's very easy to use, and it's Adobe. So Midjourney, personally, I do enjoy Midjourney. It's very easy to use. It does need a little bit of a learning curve if you want to get your parameters right. But the outcomes are very crisp. For me, as a designer, as an architect, I actually use a combination of many of these to design myself. Like, so I use Midjourney, I use LookX, I use XKiA, which you're going to see in a bit. And as a combination, I create the outcomes. I never expect one AI tool to get me 100% where I want to be. I always go 70% using one, then 30% or 20% here, and then 10% maybe Photoshop AI to like post-production wrap it up. It's just my take. Of course, everyone has their own workflows. So this is Midjourney. This is the prompting box. And this is a command where imagine is the command to imagine something to go from text to image. Yeah. And then there's Stable Diffusion, as I was just mentioning. Stable Diffusion is the core of LookX as well. Stable Diffusion is an open source image generation diffusion model. So it's currently the most powerful, meaning it is the most you know, it has Control Nets as a plugin. And there are lots of different things you can tweak, but it's relatively difficult to install and to get started with. But of course, there are also now one-click installation, downloadable things out there on Hugging Face. So do feel free to check it out if you want to. So I apologize, I have a typo here. It is free because it's open source, so ignore that. Um, so this is just a demonstration of what Stable Diffusion can do. Image generation of 49 art styles. Then there's French 3D. So I'm not affiliated with them, but I really appreciate their product, and that's why I want to bring it up in today's presentation. Um, I don't know about you guys, but I used to spend such a long time, so much time, I should say, so much time for such a long time to draw plans. And sometimes, you draw a plan and then your client kind of changes their mind and then it kind of goes to waste. What Finch 3D is good at is to optimize a building design with AI, and um, it can generate so many different iterations in such a short period of time. So I also believe that it will get better and better. So it's already quite good. But what I'm trying to say is I believe this sort of workflow is the future. Um, and I wonder if not this, then what else? Because I can't imagine us still drawing plans by hand after seeing what 3,300 iterations been generated for in 3 seconds. I mean, that's the future. It's the floor plan generation. Then there's Korea. Korea is great at upscaling things. So I think I'm gonna not go too deep into it, but basically it has the unique features, like it does do video generation as well, like runway, and it enhances the functions, enhances your images very well. It's very easy, just drop and tweak 4 or 5 different settings, and then you just upscale. It's very easy to use, very user-friendly. Like I was saying, sometimes I do a Midjourney output or a LookX output, then I actually put it into Korea. and I achieve what I want using a combination of different AI tools out there. So they have also recently created their video generation feature. And this is what it looks like. And I know it's not exactly architectural, but I think one of the skill set that us designers can think of taking on is to look at what is out there right now. What are other people doing who are non-architects? What are they doing? Like even look at graphic design or film industry, and then to try to take that technology and to use it for our own purposes. And so this is, I really kind of envision like a more cross-disciplinary kind of future for us designers, so us architects. Um, Anyway, not going to go into rants, but we're going to keep going. Photoshop AI, I'm sure most of you guys already use Photoshop AI. And the generative fill is getting better and better and enhances the original functions and it made Photoshop a lot more user-friendly. Um, so quick demo to show what it's like if you haven't seen it before. It's also a kind of text to image generation. There you have it. Okay, so um, we just took a quick look at the tools. Of course, there are many more out there. Due to time constraints, I picked my few favorites. So now we're going to move into architects and AI. Um, I have a lot of discussion with many different people about how architects can use AI and how AI affects architects. So I think it's going to be interesting for me to share a couple of viewpoints, or perhaps we start from a real life example. So I'm now, this disclaimer. First of all, I'm showing someone else's work right now. This is another YouTube video showcasing, and the link is right here. So this is another YouTube video showcasing how MBRDV had used AI to design their buildings. And I also actually reached out to the person that they interviewed in the YouTube video to understand a little bit more. So it's quite easy to understand. If we look at this diagram here, architects used to work on repetitive tasks. The majority of us in an architectural consultancy firm, right, in blue, and a few maybe higher up seniors would be working on design specific tasks. Good for them. But that's not the reason why everyone goes to architecture school. No one goes to architecture school to work on repetitive tasks. So AI comes along, that's the yellow here. They take on repetitive tasks so that the rest of us can all work on design specific tasks. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are thinking in your minds, well, what if there aren't that many designs out there to be designed? Like what if there aren't that many projects out there to be designed? We'll get to that in a moment. But just staying at MVRDV, so for them, they're using AI in a couple of different streams. First, there's brainstorming, then there's customization and research, and there's AI rendering. So they actually use, I believe, a combination of Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. But I also believe that they are now also looking into LookX and implementing that as well. So copyrights, right? Everyone likes to talk about copyrights when they're talking about AI. Do we own the image? So NRLDV tackles this issue by training their own LAR model. So first they take their own images of NRLDV and they have, I believe, someone from there can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they have a whole archive of them. They're a very well-known, competent firm. So they train their own LoRa model using those AI images so they can retain that language and copyright because the LoRa model was trained with their own content. And then when they are going into customization, what they actually do is they take an image of their blue foam. I believe it's still their preferred way to design. They will take an image of the blue foam model and then they will customize it by running it through the diffusion model and then further customizing it with the LoRa model. So this is their workflow. I just want to reiterate, I know I'm repeating myself. I personally don't believe in going from 0 to 100 by using AI. I always believe that it is still a design process. It's still an iterative process where you would still need to pause at certain points and then to review and then to understand what's the next step you need to take, or should you actually switch AI tools. Um, so I think I mentioned this. Keep in mind, this is the worst version of the generative content you will ever see. It will only get better from here. All right, industry. So does AI increase the risk of our work being imitated? Is AI a threat to the profession? We're going to touch on this, and I'm going to be showing you guys the Reba AI reports. Don't know if you guys are aware, but the Reba UK had done a reports, and they interviewed 500 architects, I believe. And in that reports, they asked a couple of questions. These are some of the questions. I want to bring it up because I wanted to make a point. So let's take a look at these questions asked. AI increases the risk of our work being imitated, true or false? Building design is so complex now. Do we need more and better digital tools like AI? Is AI a threat to the profession? And do people's practices invest resources in AI research and development? These are the results from the report. So 48% of interviewed architects believe that their works actually will, the risk of their works being imitated will increase. And 49%, half basically, believe that us architects do need better digital tools because building designs are getting more and more complex as you have your BS, your structure, your civil, and then all that jazz. And then it's kind of like a split, it's AI threat to the profession. And 20% think it's 20% had stated that their practice had invested resources in AI and research. Um, so when I looked at this, I immediately thought something's a bit off. Something's a bit off because they don't kind of line up, and I'll explain why. How come almost 50% of interviewed architects understood or believed that they need better AI tools, better tools like AI, but only 20% had mentioned that their practices are investing into R&D? Um, what I mean is we so they know they need it, but they're not investing their resources into it. So what I'm trying to say is, look, if we know that AI is the future, if we know that we're moving towards that direction, um, my question is, should we not spend energy and time and um, in exploring that career trajectory in that industry trajectory direction? Um, so I'm quoting the CEO of xKool. I'm quoting the CEO of xKool, Wan Yu. She actually made a point to state that currently we are a graphic-driven industry, meaning whatever we do, we start with a graphic, don't we? We always start with an image. The client okays it before we move on to the 3D. And I know sometimes we make the 3D to create the 2D, but this is also how AI can come in and kind of make it smoother for us. We don't actually need to do the 3D now before we make the 2D rendering. Let me backtrack a little bit. If some of you guys are Reba architects, you will understand that these are the 7 stages. But honestly, it's potato around the world. It's always going to be, first you work out your brief, which is strategic definition, then you prepare. You have the preparation and briefing, then you have the concept design, spatial coordination, technical design, then manufacturing construction, and then handover and finally users come in, right? So in a graphic-driven situation, which we're in now, we first make the 3D model whether we're using SketchUp, Revit, or Rhino, whatever. We render it for our concept design stage. Then we go into BIM, and yes, some of you guys may already be fully BIM, and still I would challenge that at some point you still need to show a 2D rendering and image to the client before you move on to the next stage. And then, the BIM model creates the drawings. And then you have the consultants, the coordination with your MEP, then with your structure, and your sustainable consultant, your acoustic, all that sort of stuff comes in much later, right? All right, I'm saying all this to make a point. It's the gaps that we have right now. The gaps we have right now, um, meaning, sorry, meaning we between the rendering and the BIM drawings, we suddenly realize, oh no, we all these designs, these very nice curvy, sexy designs, they do not follow the regulations. But of course, you started off with a concept, with a mindset, with something to wow the clients. Of course, you don't have the regulations um, already complied. Then there's a gap because of what you do as an architect. You go back and you absorb the cost and the time, right? You have to go back and redo the concept, or you have to refine it, whatever, and that takes time. And then in the technical stage, technical design, oh, you realize, oh dear, now the QS comes in, because before the QS couldn't do anything when you're just, dealing with Photoshop. But now the QS comes in and realizes, okay, it's over budget. Then what do? You go back and you redo it, right? And then once it's actually on site, you then realize, oh, there's a miscommunication with the contractor, there are site constraints, whatever. A lot of that, right? But in the future, when we're moving from a graphic-driven stage to a data-driven design stage, what we can already envision is that we're actually going to start off with a very smart BIM model with AI. And this is one of the things that xKool, LookX, they're working on right now, is to implement the supply chain and also with data in the BIM model from the get-go. So you start with all the constraints already intact in your BIM. This is the ideal world. I know it's going to take certain obstacles, certain challenges before we get there. But imagine we start with a BIM with AI and already all the information data already in there. Then you start your design. So it kind of omits all the gaps. It kind of saves you cost and time because you're already realistic from the start. That's a comparison. Okay, so if you're interested, I can talk a little bit more about the corporate structure. Not sure how many of you guys have been working as as one of these in a company. In my experience, it's always been quite similar. In a corporate hierarchy, you have the director, you have the senior associate, then you have associate, senior architect, BIM team architect, then you have the AD and AAs, right? Typical. And maybe in a project like a sports center project, for example, you might have the people in blue right now. Um, Look, when AI comes in, the question is, do we really need that many people working on one project, or can we just use, 6 or 7 different AIs to kind of, um, you know, streamline things a little bit more? So arguably, the answer would be no, we don't need the same amounts of people, you know. Okay, if one person with AI performs um, at the same productivity as 3 people without AI, arguably in the same team, you don't need that many people. It's just logic. So it's been a lot of debates about, this is taking people's jobs, etc. But let's all focus on growing, the pool, growing the markets, and instead of how the cake is being cut right now. And to go very quickly back to the Reba AI report, just want to state that, when I look at this chart, you can see that 56 people, 56% of the interviewed people, architects, believe that AI will not be increasing professional fees. I would argue that this is indeed the case. I also believe this is indeed the case if we don't consider incorporating AI in our workflow. Let me say in another way, the fees will not increase because the clients are not likely going to say, "Oh, you're using AI, let me pay you more." But instead, you're actually doing less. You're paying less effort. You're doing things in a much quicker time, for hopefully the same output, the same quality, providing the same service and products at high quality to clients. And therefore, you're actually saving your time and cost in that process. Um, and since we're talking about the industry, of course, it's very important to talk about job roles. I'm making a point here to say the job roles are changing. We were just looking at the company structure where we have senior architects and architects, etc. Honestly, there are newer and more variety, bigger, different varieties of job roles out there. For example, BIG is looking for what design technology manager. So that's different. And Bureau Happold, which is an engineering firm, they're looking for machine learning and data analytics skilled, staff. Woods Bagot is looking for a full stack developer. All right, that's industry. So now we're going to look at prompt engineering 101, and we're going to understand what makes a good prompt. Now, after this, I will show you guys the LookX interface, and after that, we're going to open the chat up for any questions that there might be. So I do welcome you to ask us in the Zoom chat. So for those who just came in, I do apologize again for the live stream not working this time. Hopefully next time will be fixed. But this is now recorded and I will put it on in the playlist on my YouTube channel. Okay, so a prompt structure, I would say it is very much like Googling. Now, when you're Googling, you don't say, please give me an image of XYZ. You just say XYZ in the search box, right? You never put words that you don't need in the Google search. And it's quite similar, I think, in the prompt structure. You just put in the style, the subject, the setting, the composition, the lighting, and any additional information. So for example, style could be a photo of, or it could be an image of, or it could be a hyper-realistic image of, or it could be a painting, right? And the subject could be here, as an example, an astronaut in a white spacesuit, helmet, visor, reflecting stars. So you're being quite descriptive. You're trying to paint the picture for the AI. The setting, what is the astronaut doing? Standing on the moon with Earth visible in the starry night sky. I'm not going to read all of it, but you get the point. So imagine you're painting the image using words, you're describing it. So we have to be a little bit more creative and we have to actually collect this terminology if you're not used to it. So I would encourage everyone to have their own terminology library. Think about it in terms of style, subject, setting, composition, lighting, additional information. You can even go one step further to think about camera language. Or architectural styles, like in the style of modernism, that's very common. So this really reminds me of when I was a kid and I had to learn how to write an essay. And you always start with, okay, who, what, when, where, why, and more why, so that you can be a little bit more descriptive. So I do think it's not that different. The 5 Ws as a rule, identify the subject, define the main focus, determine the time, specify location, and understand the purpose. Like when you're making the image, I think it's very important to know what you want. A lot of people have expressed to me that they feel the outcome of the AI, the outcome of AI when it is generating an image is very random. I would challenge that by asking that person whether or not they had a clear idea of what they wanted going into the image generation process. Because if you don't have a clear idea, of course, the outcome is going to be random. I would suggest that everyone have a direction or a style in mind or an opinion at least when we are generating images. So it's some of my own work actually, just to quickly share what it looks like and what you can do. So this is an original image from my clients, and using a diffusion model, I'm able to generate another style of the same space with it. And that is the value, I think, which is some sort of control, a little bit of creativity, and most importantly, quick. So AI can't replace a couple of things. If you have project management experience, especially if you're on site, if you have been on site, it's something that AI just can't replace. Even if it can list out all the possibilities of something that can go wrong on site, as a human going on site is an experience that can't be replaced. You just have that experience in you, and you just know what to avoid and what to do when you're coordinating. And also the coordination between consultants when you're talking to engineers, when you're talking to your other sub-consultants and your clients. That is the kind of coordination skill that also can't be replaced. Like I think understanding client real needs are very important. The client might think they want A, but actually turns out they want B. So one of the things that, of course, us as architects need to do is to be very empathetic and to, try to understand what they want. And that is part of the bit where we have to make the brief for them. Critical thinking and life skills, just kind of what makes a good, competent human being. So I think, you know, just to summarize, I think we really can leverage human-machine collaboration, and not just human and not just AI. It's collaboration, us leveraging AI to achieve what we want. And as designers, as architects, in my personal opinion, through an iterative design process. Okay, so let's come back to the intro to LookX, and then we'll go into Q&A. So let me know if you can't see my screen. I've just switched to can everyone see my screen? Please do give me a thumbs up in the chat. Perfect. All right, so this is the interface of LookX. If you're having trouble finding it, just literally Google lookx.ai. This should come up. And let me just quickly explain the interface. Oh, first of all, if you need to subscribe, the link is in the email that Lena had sent you. The link to discount subscription, that is. And actually, it doesn't cost that much. And I believe for certain image generations, it is free, but to upscale and to make videos, you do need credits. Maybe someone in xKool will correct me because sometimes they do change up the package. So this is the homepage. So we have here different image tools and different image tools and different video tools. So we have the image generation here, which is Gen 2. That's the most crisp and most forefront feature that we have right now. Then there's the old image generation, but what's also good about this is that we have the control nets in image generation. Then there's real time, and there's edits. Edit is like in painting or generative fill. If we go to the left side, this is the home, that's where we are now. If we go to the Creations Plaza, we can see everyone's output. It's very interesting. I believe this person here is probably trying to do some product design. So what I enjoy doing is to go into a person's generation and then to see where they came from. Like, how did they make this? What kind of image did they use? Let me explain. And this is impromptu, by the way. I just saw this and just learning from it together with you. We can see the prompt. That's the text prompts that they had. This is a resolution. This is a seat number. This person had put in a reference image, and then they've put in the similarity that they wanted and the control method. So it can be composition similarity or content similarity. We'll go more in depth into it in the next class. I hope you guys are excited to be a little bit more hands-on next week. Sorry, not next week, Friday. So let's go back and just to check out a few more. So that was product. Sorry, this is architecture. So, ooh, walk-in wardrobe. Let's take a look. So walk-in closet, rainy, evening, brown, realistic photo, modern office interior, rattan, bohemian style, and cozy. Very nice. I would love to have this. I digress. So to go back, a lot of people doing very nice interior designs. So you can go up to this tab here where you can see, you can kind of filter people's works like by groups. So top choice, architectural design. So let's go into architectural design because we're seeing a lot of interior. So this is quite a fantastic rendering, actually quite crisp as well. Let's take a look at this. So this person wanted to retain the all the outlines I can see, and this person is just rendering it in a different style. So it's quite working quite well. But you can see how this used to be the sky, and this is now a brick wall. So it sometimes happens. It's not perfect. So if this happens to you, by the way, and you're happy with everything else, my suggestion to you would be to Photoshop this away, and you're done. Because sometimes, like I said, it doesn't go 100% all the way to what you want to do. It goes 70%. This is what I mean. So this person had put in a reference image and a text image here. Sorry, text prompts. All right, let's take a look at this one here, for example. So this one is purely text to image. It does not have any reference image at all. So this prompt is residential building rendering MIR style, acrylic landscape entrance or warehouse, bright red, twilight, soft glow, future style. Very cool. Very nice. All right, so that is the Creations Plaza. Now you can understand and you can go check it out anytime. So um, next module, we will actually start creations. Um, so actually to start creation, we can take a look at the different features here. We can pull it up from here. Apologies, I think my Wi-Fi is suffering a little bit. My internet's suffering a little bit because I have quite a few different applications going on here. Perhaps let me go back to home. So as I was saying, the image generation Gen 2 is the most advanced at the moment. So now you see what I was just playing around with. And this is the interface. You have your image tools here, right? So this is what we picked. We picked this. This is where you put in your prompts. You can ask AI to help. You can make a few words here, and then it will elaborate for you. This is why it's also quite powerful because it has all the labels um, that you might think of. And when you click on a label, it just goes into the label box, the prompts box, sorry. And for example, if you want to choose residential building high rise and you want to add more like uh parametric, for example, you can just type an add to it. So the labels actually just help you build the prompt. So this is where you can put in your reference image if you want to reference a style or reference some outlines. And these are the output settings. So you can output by batch or you can output one by one. You see, so to start creations is completely free, it seems. Um, so the ratio, you also have your options. You can do it in square or in vertical or horizontal. So we just had a quick glimpse. I'm going to open up the floor for Q&A in just about 1 minute. But let me just quickly show you guys, um, if I can. Let's go into real time. That's where I want to go to. I believe it's loading. So what should actually be uh, shown here is that this is actually going to change as I render. Oh, now it came out. I should be more patient. Let's start again. Bear with me. So it's just loading. All right, there you go. So this is the default. We can look at it in such a way. You can see how it changes the words LOKX into a building. As I was saying, LookX was trained specifically for architectural use. So whatever you're drawing here is very likely going to end up something that is architectural. So I pick a brush and I'm just going to scribble whatever, um, and I will see how it interprets it. So it is giving me some kind of roof here. And I do apologize. It's been very artistic with it. So it's trying to make sense of it. Um, so this is obviously not not a beautiful one. So let's remove paintings. And for example, if you draw, something a little bit more geometric, it will give you what you asked for. See? Okay, so that's just a quick demonstration. Next week, we would like you to be a lot more hands-on and we would like to see some outcome from you guys so that we can talk about it, we can discuss, and we can have fun with it. So for those of you who haven't gotten Discord yet, I strongly encourage you to do so. And you can join the Discord server, which is in Elena's email sent to you. There's a link there, so please do feel free to um, join. So I'm just going to go back to the last couple of slides. Um, in fact, I will just go ahead and ask for Q&As. Elena, do we have any?
Oh yeah, I actually do, because like you demonstrated all of the LookX online um tools, but then I somehow know it can be linked in Rhino and SketchUp and the
Yeah,
other the tools as well as a plugin, right? How does that
yes.
work? You briefly introduce that.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So if we go back to LookX and if we go into plugin, so these are the quick steps to show how you can install it. And also next week, I will show a demonstration on how we can generate some renderings directly from the Rhino model. So once you install it in Rhino, what it actually does, it will take a screenshot of your Rhino model, and then it will actually work on the image to image generation, and it will render directly from your Rhino model. So it is incredibly intuitive, I believe, and I would suggest those of you who have LookX already and have SketchUp or Rhino to go into this plugin, go into this tab, and to install it on your models.
Oh, and I also have one question for the rest of the guys here. So like I'm interested like if you are actually working as an architect or you're an architectural student, can you just quickly tell me the chat box, please?
Yes, you're right. I would actually really love to know what everyone is doing, and maybe you guys can let us know in the chat box. Sorry, not chat bot. Oh wow, IAC is a very good school. Congratulations. Yeah, visas are tricky, I'm sure. Perhaps the rest of the participants are a little shy. Ooh, from Brazil. Very cool.
Wow.
Awesome.
We're all
Indonesia.
over the world.
Cool. Very nice. I want to go to Barcelona, Brazil, and Indonesia. I want to go to all of them. Um, cool. So we welcome you to let us know more. Oh, okay. Very cool. From Pakistan. Um, we welcome you guys to let us know more and also be more interactive in the upcoming modules. We encourage that. So, and just to now explain what we're going to do on Friday, same time. So day two, module two, we are going to try to master the advanced functionalities of the LookX platform and to use Rhino to upscale images using LookX platform and using Rhino, and then we will try to upscale images using Kriya. So again, just to reiterate, if you um, don't have Discord yet, please do get it and join our server. And then we will have design reviews. We will actually have three tasks next week, and we will look to review the outcome. So we will show a demo. then we will ask you to be hands-on, and then we will review it together. So this is very much like a workshop, so that we can actually be a little bit more interactive than just me talking all the time. Um, and then on Sunday, um, thank you if you're still here on Sunday. We will go into some comprehensive training on AI model development. So actually, Elena will be showing us how she trained a LoRa model, and then we're going to try to use the LoRa model to generate images. So the objective is to generate images using pre-existing LoRa models, and then to learn how a LoRa model is trained within LookX. And also, we're going to take a look at how we can generate AI videos, and it's super easy and fun. So I think I will end with a quote from Cedric Price. Technology is the answer, but what was the question? So we have all this high-tech fancy tools right now for us. So it is our choice or our opinion, it's up to us to decide how we want to use this technology that we have at hand. So do feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and also connect with Elena. Um, Next module, it will be both me and Elena giving you guys the demonstrations. So I do look forward to seeing all of you guys here again. Again, apologies for the live stream not working right now. I will be uploading this recording onto my YouTube channel. So do let me know if there are any more questions, and you guys are always free to message me on the Discord server or email us. I believe you have Elena's email. So do you want to say anything, Elena, before we go?
I just want to say thank you for the entire introduction into the AI applications in architecture. And it actually, like, AI is the future of, I believe, as for my opinion, AI is the future of doing the architecture and then to lift our efficiency. So thank you very much for Stace sharing, and thank everyone else for coming today as well.
Oh, thank you. Yes, exactly. Thanks everyone for coming, and it's a great pleasure to have all of you guys from around the world. So we look forward to seeing you guys again. So please do come back on Friday, and we can, you know, keep working on it and to do more together. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.